Hello everyone, this is Rani Hari. Welcome back to Asian Fempreneur. If you are new here, welcome. This is the place where video games, the power of play, spirituality, entrepreneurship, and tech intersect. In this episode, I want to talk about what's been happening so far, especially when it comes to combining my two YouTube channels and what happened when you evolve. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that I'm opening my doors for one-on-one coaching. This is a great opportunity, especially if you've been thinking of transitioning, maybe in terms of jobs, or if you have so many interests that you're not too sure where to focus them, or perhaps you just want to gain some accountability. The people that I've been working so far, they said that they've gained clarity and they feel safe because I hold them the space where they can share and express what exactly they want to do that is aligned for themselves. If you're interested, I invite you to book a discovery call, which is for free. The detail will be in the show note below. Earlier this month, I finally managed to do what I've been wanting to do all of this time, but I was just so scared of making the move. And that is to merge my podcast from one YouTube channel into my gaming channel. Both are YouTubes. Long story short, that this is because of YouTube finally rolling out its podcast ability. I thought, okay, this is a sign. So let's merge it into one. And that's what I finally managed to do. So if you've been following my podcast Asian Fempreneur, this is the new home, which is in Rani Hari Place channel. But if you've been following my gaming channel, you might start to be seeing contents along the line of entrepreneurship or spirituality, as well as gaming, everything combined. And if you ask me, where am I going with this? We will see, because I have a vision of what it could look like, but in terms of what's the plan or how it will look like, how will other people perceive it, that remains to be seen. Like, I have no idea, and I've spent the last few years, you could say 2 years, 2 years, actively thinking in my head about this. So in a nutshell, that's what happened. And I'm happy about it because this way, I'm no longer scattered. I feel relief. I feel relief that finally I get to make everything into one, integrate it all into one. And that makes a very streamlined focus, right? Rather than having to worry, oh, what about my podcast here? Oh, what about my gaming channel here? And I so wanted to merge them together. But all this time, I've been scared of thinking what other people will think about it. Will it make sense? Like, what is she trying to talk about, right? Like, But yes, here I am. This is it. It's finally streamlined. It's all in one direction. Basically, I just have to create. That's my role now. Okay, just to give you a bit of context, both of these two channels, like first of all, it started from 2020, especially for the Asian Fempreneur one. The idea was back then because of the whole Black Lives Matter movement. So I thought, okay, I want to tell something, I want to do something similar, but not in a very large scale, but at the very least, what can I do? What is this something that I'm passionate about, like I really like to do. So I had a look at that time because I'm an entrepreneur and I came from Asia, so there's that background. I would like to inspire. I would like to give this message that look, your life doesn't have to be just a predictable one, right? Like finish uni and then get a job and then get married, get a family, and that's it. Your life is basically over in a way. But no, like there are other ways. There are other avenues as well, and entrepreneurship is one of them. So I know several people that have been a successful entrepreneurs. They have started running their business, whether it's in Asia or even outside of Asia. That's how the idea of Asian Fempreneur is born. Back in 2020, I started to interview several of my friends, and which most of them are already out here. And it's okay. But I would say it's kind of an on and off because it's purely myself though, because this is a one man, actually one woman, one woman army. So it definitely took time for me to plan, edit, and then publish it. Like those three are very, you could say that's the nutshell. But what I had trouble at the time was editing it, because whenever I listen to myself talking, or even the very first episode of recording this, I felt like I could have done better. I could have done better. All of those self critics, like self editor starts to pop out, right? That's not healthy. Like when it comes to act of creation, like this, like creative things, you want to zone the editor out. I was struggling with that. So it took me some time until 2021, 2022 actually, that I started to slowly publish the interviews that I've managed to take. And the same time, basically both of them started in 2020, but the actual thing with my gaming channel, I created it back in 2021, but I started to take it more seriously back in 2022. Again, 2020, during the pandemic, lockdown, I felt nostalgic about playing a video game, right? So that's what I did. Like, I use PC, I use my laptop, and we use Steam. That's the platform where to play video games on PC. Just one of them, or one of the many, but that's the major one. And I played. But then I felt, this is great, nostalgic and whatnot, but how can I make the time I'm playing this video games more productive, rather than just you play for, let's say, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, plus, and then that's it. So my journey into gaming as a content creation, it started from there. And I thought, okay, let's just create a YouTube channel for me recording my gameplay. And that's what the motivation of Rani Hari Plays starting from. So by then, around 2021 or 2022, I already had 2 channels. But then the focus started to deviate, right? Like, okay, I have this and I have that. Plus, I have my business as well. So what should I do? Is there any way I can integrate them together? Been running in my mind, like, what are the pros and cons, and like, how would it be? I've done my market research. I've seen other gaming YouTubers or even entrepreneurs that also do gamings, even interview one of them as well, trying to find out. Most of them were like, okay, this hasn't been done before. Most people who, especially entrepreneurs, usually they don't have that much time to watch or like gaming itself, except maybe some occasional gaming, but otherwise they're not very much into gaming. They're pretty much onto like okay, how can I get funding? How can I run my business, basically? Which is fine. Which is like, that's what we were supposed to do, right? So, okay, I thought if you've done a market research and then you see that this hasn't been done before, either one, it could be like where it could be a gold mine, a potential gold mine, or two, it's just not a good idea. So I thought, okay, maybe this is not such a good idea, so okay, forget it. Does it kind of like on and off? Sometimes when I had the inspiration to interview certain people, I'll do Asian Fempreneur. And then when I play games, like, oh yeah, there's this interesting game I want to play, then I do Rani Hari Plays. If you remember, my original motivation is to empower and inspire people, especially women in Asia or those with Asian background that on entrepreneurship. But then I felt like the focus itself, it's too confining myself into the box, and I don't feel free anymore. I feel like this is too limiting, right? Because hey, I know other people that's not from Asian background. They have a cool story and I want to tell them. So that another layer of thinking and consideration in the back of my mind that I've been had. By then, in the same time, I'm also doing my coaching program as well, like training to be a coach. We've got confronting our fear, you could say, like what would happen if, let's say, I combine those two together? What would happen if I just interview people that's non-Asian? What's the worst that could happen? They teach you also how to tune in into what feels right for myself and what feels like, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do, or nope, this is not what I want to do anymore. Basically, the path where I feel more alignment with. In March, I had this opportunity to interview a friend, a fellow entrepreneur, Ann Gitu. I'll link her episode somewhere here. But yeah, like as I was recording and then editing and then about to publish her interview. That was actually for the International Women's Day, as I was about to publish it into the other YouTube channel. I felt I don't enjoy this anymore. I don't enjoy having to go to the YouTube studio for Asian Fempreneur and having to upload it. It felt like contraction. You know the feeling when you feel contracted. You felt heavy from inside. You felt like, ugh, like, please, I don't want to do this. So that's when I know, okay, this is the time. Like, because if I if I tell myself, okay, you're gonna have to do this for another, let's say, another 1 year. Let's not even talk about next 3 years. Let's talk just about in the upcoming 1 year. If I leave it as it is, would I still want to do this? Would I still want to keep this podcast separate? Because remember, I don't have issue with the podcast. In fact, I like that's what I wanted to do. It's just it'd be great if I can combine it into one and like let them build upon each other. So my answer was a definite nope. I'm not gonna do this for another 1 year. Plus, the timing is even better because YouTube has just started to roll out podcasts on the YouTube studio, and it so happened that they roll out, like it's available in the Rani Hari Place first. Plus, I've got more subscribers there compared to the Asian Fempreneur one. So, okay, let's start moving in. Let's start integrating them all together. It was scary. The process was really scary. Like, I keep thinking, like, there's this feeling like, am I making the right choice? What will happen? Like, you keep thinking and thinking and thinking, like the doubt is there, but it's okay. Like, it's okay in the sense that it's a normal doubt, right? It's a normal doubt that when you're about to take, or when you're undergoing something really big for yourself, that you'll be questioning, like, is this the right choice? Am I making the right choice? Like, oh, what happened if this is not it? But I know from my heart that this is what I want to do. Like, this is it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? People will not engage. People unsubscribe, which actually already happened. Like, as of now, I've got people unsubscribe from my channels. And that's okay. It's not okay for a growing channel, but it's okay in the same time because it's not something that I can control, right? Whether people want to stay on or if they want to unsubscribe. Maybe this is no longer the kind of content my previous subscribers want to follow or want to see. Maybe like it's something else that's like, oh, what is this? Like, oh, I'm subscribed for gaming and then now there's this interviews. Okay, that's okay. I don't think this is for me. So it's already happened. So right now, what I can do is just move forward. What I'm trying to say here is that, when something that doesn't serve you any longer, when you feel like, okay, this is not for me, you don't feel the joy out of it. You feel heavy just thinking about it. Then it's okay. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to change. It could be relationships that no longer work for you. It could be jobs, or it could be a previous iteration of yourself, a previous stage in your life. Maybe it's just that you grow. You outgrow them, you outgrow the environment, and it's just a sign that you need somewhere else, you need something else that could serve you better and in a healthier way. Because, you know what? Being stagnant is not a healthy way to grow. That's it. You're just there. Like, there's no avenue, there's no channel to move. If you imagine a lake, or let's say a water source, provided that the water is clean, like from nature that you can drink, which one would you want to drink? Water that flows, or a water that stays stagnant in just that body of water itself? If I was in the wild and knowing that the water is clean, I think I would go to a water source like a river or a creek because it flows instead of a lake that has a stagnant water. So with this, I invite you to ask these questions for yourself, whether for journaling or, I don't know, maybe just something that, a food for thought, really. Is there any area in your life that you felt you have already outgrown them? If there are, what would be the best next step for you? The key is this. Whether you feel expansion, that could mean you feel the joy, you feel light in the sense like you feel really, really light and you feel excited about something. That's how expansion feels like. Or maybe that something is feeling like contraction for you. So it could feel like, it feels heavy. It feels deep down, you know, like, this is not for you. Like, ugh, nah. You just know it. That's how contraction feels like. Just to close this episode, I would invite you to think and see if there are any areas of your life that you may have already outgrown them. If you watched until this far, and if you feel like any of this is landing for you, please write in the comment your thoughts or your impression. And with this, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.